This is kind of an updated version of an old video I made. It's basically how to create a turnaround page as far as like putting it in 3ds Max and cutting it up. The old version basically used slicing and getting all these images, and we're going to do it a little bit differently this week. So basically this is my image. You can see it's basically a simple character figure. You can use a turnaround photo, anything you want. The big thing about this is you want to make sure that the tops, everything lines up. So chin lines up with the chin, the breasts line up with the breast, the feet line up with the feet, all the particular parts line up with each other. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply, first of all, I'm going to create a box. We're going to keep it real simple, and it doesn't really matter the height as much as it does like so. So we're just going to kind of piece it around like this, and I'm going to do two parts here. First thing is I'm going to apply the image. Second thing is I'm going to create a texture so I can animate it back and forth. So pretty simple stuff. It's going to take, so first of all, I'm going to grab my image, and my image is really off screen in the Explorer window with all my other junk here. And so I'm going to just drag and drop that right on top of the image. And it's going to look really ugly right off the bat. I'm going to then go in and do a couple things. So first things first, I'm going to go into the object properties, and I'm going to turn on backface culling, say OK. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, convert editable poly, and so I'm going to grab the whole thing and I'm going to scroll down to flip here. I'm going to flip it, and so what that's going to do is make the box basically on the inside. Now we don't need a lot of these parts, so I'm going to grab the middle part here and I'm going to Control W to flip back up. I'm going to grab the top part hitting Control, and I'm going to hit delete. And so with that idea in mind, then what we're going to do is we're going to basically go out of this mode here, and I'm going to basically have four sides to the box. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a UVW on there. So I'm going to drop a UVW unwrap on there, and I'm going to open up the unwrap in the editor, and you're going to see something like this, and it's not going to look not going to have really anything in there except for map 1 turnaround gypsy. So I'm going to open that up, and you're going to see a big wide map like this. And what we're going to do is go to polygon, go to mapping, flatten mapping, say OK, and it's just going to give us a whole bunch of pieces. And then when we look at this, it's going to be a nightmare. So what we're doing is, I'm just going to move this off to the side. What we're doing now is we are grabbing said pieces here. So these pieces like so, we're going to rotate 90 degrees, and I'm going to hold in Control, and it'll snap in there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use free transform, and I'm going to scale them all down like so, like this, like that. All right, actually we're going to rotate that 90 degrees in the other way, and I'm holding Control again. There we go. So now what's happened is basically we've got our two pieces piece of this. So basically the first thing I'm going to do is I'm now going to grab this, and I'm going to bring them up like so, and then we are going to go in here, and I'm going to hit relax. So relaxing will turn them into pretty much the base idea of like what we're trying to do. So then I'm going to grab the back one here, and I'm going to just simply move that over. I'm going to hold shift so it kind of zooms on the same thing. So like so, bang, like that. And now that one is actually, I grabbed the wrong face, so that one's the front face. So when we're modeling, we want this actually over the back. So there's my back side, like so. And then I'm going to grab this one here, and I'm going to go in and just bring it over the front, like so. And there's my front side. And then I'm going to grab this one here. That one is the right version here. And so if we look at it, like, I'm just going to move it kind of close so I can see that arm in there. I don't have to get too perfect, but the arm's nice. And then we're going to grab this one here and we're going to move it over the other version here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over this one here. You'll notice it's upside down and it's kind of backwards too. So what we're going to do is grab that, flip it vertically like so, and then I'm just going to rotate it twice like so, and then move it like that, and that is basically done. So that is the first part of this. Now once this is done, we've got all our sides, everything looks like it lines up, and you can do a simple fix like so. If you just want to check if things are lining up, we can do this. So we can take a plane and we can just move that plane up, and you can see, okay, feet are lining up, okay, this doesn't line up, that doesn't line up, but that doesn't line up. So that means that I have to make some adjustments, and to make those adjustments, it's as simple as going back in the unwrap here in the editor, and we can grab these pieces that don't line up properly. So we're just going to grab, not that one, we're going to grab that one. So we can look at this and say, okay, you know what, that just goes down a little bit, and as long as they kind of line up really, you can see, move that up. And so you can kind of go through and do that. And if like the images don't line up, you can always add more edges in here and move those up and down accordingly. So that's a quick way to fix things. All right, next thing. So with that in mind, I'm gonna just dump my image plane here. I don't need that, so we're gonna just dump that. Next thing in mind, what we're gonna do is we are going to go in and make this a transparent image. So what we can do is move the slider bar back and forth to control the transparency. It's a quick fix, it's really easy. So go here, we're gonna go open the material editor. You can also hit M. Mine opens up in a window off to the side, so I'm gonna click this, and this is the first thing we're gonna do. And so with this physical material, it's going to load a physical material. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to transparency here, and you'll notice that at 1%, control the transparency of everything. And the reason why it's not, we've got default shading on. So with default shading, we can go to high quality here, and you'll notice with high quality on that it'll disappear right away. So after I've picked my material, really simple, we're going to go up here, we're going to change this to high quality. So high quality will let us see the transparency, so you can zoom in and out here like so. First things first, turn on auto key. That'll make the bar red, and that means the whole window's red. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click and add a key here, and then you don't have to go all the way through, but you can right click over here and say 1, and you'll notice that with 1 in there, now I have got this. So I can control like the transparency as I model. I'm going to turn off auto key, and I'm ready to model. So I can model all I want, and I can slide this back and forth to give me a little transparency. And the nice thing I can do is I can also go in my object properties, and I can go into and say uncheck show frozen in gray, and I'm going to freeze it, and I'm going to say okay. And so now I can't touch it, but using the slider I can go from thick to thin. So that's a real quick fix to allow me to kind of work and model and do all the sort of things. Just remember that when you go back to this mode, if you do want to see these, 3 will give you the right frame here, and then you should be able to control that. If it doesn't disappear all the way, that's just because you're using not high quality, and you can change accordingly. So that makes things a little bit easier to work on. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and like and subscribe. All right, have a good one.